This is the Harry Loomis Show. Welcome back to the Harry Loomis Show. Today on Wednesday, July 2nd. It was a busy day for the Blues yesterday, and today is no different. We've got a couple roster moves to talk about today, but first we're going to talk about the good, the exciting. Pius Suter is a St. Louis Blue, a guy that I felt like for years seemed like a Blues type of player. He's finally coming onto the Blues. 2-year deal, $4.125 million average annual value. And I got to tell you something. It's very rare for the Blues to make a move that is universally praised. Even the offer sheets last year were pretty gutsy at the time. A lot of people don't love offer sheets. As great as those turned out, not everyone loved them. The Cam Fowler trade, even not everyone loved it because Fowler was having a bad year with the Ducks when he came in. This one, I've seen nothing but praise from the St. Louis Blues. Doug Armstrong, Alex Steen, the entire team. This is a home run signing by all accounts. A 29-year-old in Suter who is coming off a career-high 25 goals on just a miserable, dysfunctional Vancouver Canucks team. Really one of the few positives from that team. And the Blues didn't overpay. They did make the extreme overpayment. I like this a lot more than Mikael Granlund at 3 years, $7 million. I could have tolerated 3 years, $7 million was a bit steep. This is perfectly safe. I would have been good giving Suter 3 years, $4.5 million, around that range that I would have guessed he had gotten. 1 year less, $500,000 less is fantastic value. And like I said, this guy scored 25 goals last year, and you're getting him for insanely good value at a position you desperately need. This isn't your bona fide second line center, but it really solidifies your center depth. This puts Thomas at the top line still. Shen is going to be your second line center to start. There's a chance Suter could come in and take that second line center spot, at least in a bind if there's some chemistry issues or if Shen starts struggling or someone gets hurt. Suter can be a second line center. He proved that in Vancouver. Bukestad now is able to play that fourth line center role. I'm not sure there's a role for Oscar Sundqvist on this team. I have my board out. I updated the roster. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. This is a great move for the St. Louis Blues. Watching some Pius Suter highlights. If you don't know about him, he's a 29-year-old from Switzerland, undrafted, made his debut with the Blackhawks in 2021, the shortened season, and has really just been a steady, solid player in the NHL. Last year was his career high, 46 points. He played 2 years in Detroit after his first year in Chicago, last 2 years with the Vancouver Canucks. He has gotten Lady Byng votes 1 year. He got Selke votes this past year. And like I said, he's just a really solid, can do a little bit of everything player. Watching some of his highlights, he doesn't blow you away with his skating, his size. He's 6 foot, around 175 pounds. I think he's actually listed at 5'11", 5'11", 6 foot, either or. But one thing I really like about him is he's so smart with his placement. He's, like I said, he's not the best skater. He's not a huge playmaker, but he's a great opportunist. Looking at some of these goals he scores, he just knows how to find open ice, and he's able to capitalize on it. He's got great finishing ability, which is proven. He plays a little bit in all situations he played in all those for Vancouver. I'm sure he will for the Blues. I think he's going to fit like a glove on this team. I think he needs some skilled wingers on his side, which it has me interested where he's going to play in this lineup. You have to assume Holloway and Kyrou are a package deal together. That they worked really well with Shen. What does that third line look like? Is that Neighbors? It's probably going to be Buchnevich, Snuggerud on that first line. What does that right winger position look like? Another thing we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But Suter has shown that he can fit in a lot of different situations, and I'm really excited about this deal. I'm not sure if this is it for the Blues. There's still rumors about them with Bowen Byram. I don't know what that would cost. I don't know where he would fit in the lineup, but the Blues do have potentially an opening now, waiving Nick Leddy. He was put on waivers today. I'm assuming he won't play another game with the Blues. I don't know if he'll get claimed, but I'm sure there will be some deal put in place for him to seek another opportunity. I can't imagine he's going to want to play in the minors, maybe a Brandon Saad type of agreement between Leddy and the Blues. But he is likely done as a member of the St. Louis Blues. Tough to see. I liked him when he came in. He just struggled the past couple of years. Wasn't worth the $4 million. And with Mayu coming in, with Fowler and Broberg bearing so much fruit on the left side. There wasn't much of a place for him, especially with 1 year left of $4 million. Tyler Tucker now has an everyday spot, especially with Ryan Suter not coming back. So the Blues did not lose their Suter. They still have one, Pius Suter, now coming in. But it seems like a net positive day for the Blues. The one thing I'm concerned about, though, is the Blues, without question, have upgraded their bottom six centers. Pius Suter and Nick Bukestad are far and away going to be better than Oscar Sundqvist and Radek Faksa, just in terms of overall talent and how they could mesh in, especially on the offensive side. As good as Radek Faksa was, we know he is not an offensive player. One thing that Faksa is going to leave the Blues struggling in is face-off percentage. Faksa last year was 57% from the dot, which is outstanding. The Blues as a team, 51.6%. Thomas and Shen both over 50% as well. Bukestad last year was 47.4% at the dot. Suter, even worse, 42.7%. That is something that could be a problem. We know just how vital Faksa was at the faceoff dot. They started a lot of periods up WTF line just because Faksa was able to win faceoffs and get possession, kind of set the tone in a way you want to start a period. And the Blues are going to have to recreate that. It's kind of like Zach Bolduc's 19 goals. You can't quite replace what he was in the lineup, but you can recreate his numbers in the aggregate. If there's one coach that I want teaching faceoffs, it's Steve Ott. He was a great faceoff man in his time. Now that he's the associate coach, I would be shocked if he's not spending time with Bukestad and Suter, working with them on faceoffs. And if you can get Suter to a 46%, Bukestad to a 49% from 47, you'll take that because you can't imagine Thomas is going to regress. Shen has always been a pretty good faceoff guy. That should be something that they're able to minimize, but I think the Blues got better today without question. And we're going to take a look at Jay Fresh's tweet here about Suter, which if you're not following Jay Fresh, this is your sign that you should be. Pius Suter signed 2x4 by STL. This was before it got updated. We now know that it's 4.125. Is an intelligent shutdown scoring center who transcends his lack of size and especially speed to prevent chances against. Creates a lot of goals and scoring chances by getting to the slot and finding space, which kind of matches what I said. He reads the ice very, very intelligently. He gets to the right spots, and if he's not the one scoring them, he's able to set up as needed, which is going to really help whoever is on that line, like I said, whether it's Neighbors, whether that's Texier, Joseph, Dvorsky, you name it. No pun intended, he's going to be a Swiss Army knife on this team. He is from Switzerland, but I think he's going to fit super, super well on this team. So let's take a look here at the updated lines and how we're viewing this team. So here's the updated lines. I saw some people on Twitter telling me that Snuggerud is going to be on the top line instead of Neighbors. I agree with that. I kind of put Neighbors on the top line to start because that's what we saw most of in the regular season. Although obviously, as things materialize, it was Snuggerud on that top spot, and I think we'll see that more throughout the season. So Suter is going to be the third line center to start. Bukestad moves down to the fourth line. Everything else is pretty much set except for this spot. This spot is going to be the real question mark coming into training camp in the regular season. It could be one of three guys, really. Sundqvist is still listed here. I don't think he's going to be part of the Blues going forward, but until there is a move being made, we're going to keep him as an option. Dvorsky, I still don't know what number he's going to wear. Texier and Joseph are going to be the options. I still expect a move, potentially moving out one of Texier or Joseph. I don't know which one it would be. Joseph got more games in. It seemed like he fit better on that third line. But now with Sundqvist and Bolduc both gone, does that matter as much? I know Doug Armstrong believes in Alex Texier and wants to give him a shot. We'll see what happens there, but I would be surprised if both of them are on the Blues come October. I'm not seeing a lot of people on board with Dvorsky starting out as a winger. I'm not 100% sure why. I think Dvorsky would be my choice here. If he's going to learn, he's got to learn the NHL game somehow, and I think starting him out as a wing is not a bad option. We got to remember Robert Thomas. When he came in, the Blues won the Stanley Cup. He was a right winger. We know him as a number one center now, but he came in as a winger, learned with Tyler Bozak being his center, really learned the NHL game, his own game, how to adapt to professional hockey, and he really blossomed. I think that worked out really well. And I think Dvorsky on Suter's line could be a pretty similar um, type of situation there. But Dvorsky's got to earn it too. He didn't have a great camp last year. That's why he got sent back down. He did have that opportunity and it didn't work out. Um, and he got 2 games in the NHL this year. Wasn't terrible, but didn't earn enough confidence from Jim Montgomery to play any more games than that. There were 2 sporadic games. He played one, was scratched, got sent back down, came back up, and got put into a game kind of last second because I think Joseph either had a bad game or was injured or something like that against Edmonton. That's all he got. So Dvorsky is going to have to prove himself, but if he does and he has a good camp, I hope he forces his way into this third line wing spot. Um, you could adjust the lines as is there. I don't know if Neighbors, Suter, and Dvorsky would be the third line going forward, but you do have your options. I think there's a lot of scoring ability on those 3 lines in particular. And Bukestad on this fourth line, who knows what can happen there? Bukestad is a former 2-time 20-goal scorer. Torpchenko scored 14 goals or something like that in 23-24. Walker scored a hat trick before. He's had bursts where he can score in bunches, and you know he's going to give 100%. I think this is a really, really solid forward core, and I still like the defensive pairs as well. Mayu adds more offense than he does defense, but he adds size, he adds grit, and I think he is going to develop nicely. We've already talked enough about that, and then I have Krug and Letty kind of in the press box because we know Krug will never play again. Letty will probably never be a Blue again, but until he clears waivers or something happens, we do have a spot for him. So good day for the St. Louis Blues. Good moves by Doug Armstrong. Again, it's always a good thing when the whole league, it seems, and your whole fan base are praising a move. 10 out of 10, A plus on signing Pius Suter. I wanted him from the start. I think he's going to be a perfect addition to the St. Louis Blues team. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if the Blues are done. This is not a typical offseason compared to the past couple of years. So we'll see what continues to happen, but things are happening for the Blues. They are not content with being a wild card team. They want to be in that top 3 in the Central. And the West could be wide open for the taking too. So they're going to keep making moves and building to that contender status. Are they there yet? Not 100% sure, but they're going to keep working at it. So that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk again soon. This is the Harry Loomis Show.